On a rooftop, Jinsu, the son of a science teacher at Hyosan High School, tries to retaliate against bullies Guinom, Myunghwan, Chonghun, and Hyunju. But he gets thrown off the roof when he displays some uncanny, violent symptoms. Jinsu survives the fall and is taken to the hospital. When his father, Mr. Lee, arrives, he notices his son's weird, violent tendencies and tries to kill him again. But the boy won't die. At Hyosan High School, Hyunjun gets bitten by an infected hamster in Mr. Lee's office. With Jinsu's infection spreading and increasing Mr. Lee's fears of a viral epidemic, and he ties Hyunjun in his office as a preventative measure. However, Hyunjun escapes the next day and with the virus already taking root, kickstarts the epidemic. She bites the school nurse when she's taken to the infirmary and gives Anjo a scratch on her arm. Afterward, Hyunju is taken away to the hospital, while the nurse continues to spread the virus in the school. Anjo, however, doesn't show symptoms and is attacked by another zombie during the killing spree at the school cafeteria. Given Mr. Lee's role as the creator of the virus, he's brought in by the police for questioning at the hospital. Hyunju kickstarts the infection in the city by biting a nurse. Meanwhile, all hell continues to be let loose at Hyosan High. Jiangsan, one of the students, and Anjo make their way out of the swarmed cafeteria. They join their classmates in another room and call the police, but no one believes them. So Anjo calls the fire department instead, alleging a fire incident, and a team is sent out. As the school's archery team returns, one of the coaches gets bitten and lies about it when he ends up in the same classroom with Jiangsan and Anjo. However, he can't fight the infection and bites one of the students when he turns. As they flee, one of them, Suhyuk, falls behind, and they regrettably can't go back. The group runs into another classroom, finds out Anjo's best friend has been bitten, and throw her out the window to prevent anyone else from getting infected. With everyone trapped by the zombies, Jiangsan comes up with an idea to get down to the second floor, but he gets trapped himself when the zombies finally break in. Suhyuk, who'd unknowingly survived, finds Jiangsan on the verge of getting bitten. Together, they fend off the zombies and find the others. Unknown to them, the government has placed an evacuation order because of the epidemic in the city. Back at the school, a zombie makes its way toward the unsuspecting students, but they deal with it before it can harm them. Out of hatred for Gyeongsu, Jiangsan's best friend, Nayeon accuses him of being bitten. After being asked to quarantine for 10 minutes, he requests to stay longer to allay all suspicions. When asked to apologize for wrongly accusing Gyeongsan, Nayeon spitefully infects his wound with zombie blood, and Jiangsan is forced to throw him out the window. An argument ensues afterward regarding Gyeongsan's infection and Nayeon's culpability. Annoyed, she walks out of the classroom and would have been bitten by zombies, but for Mrs. Sunhua'S intervention. Jiangsan's mom shows up at Hyosan High, searching for her son, but sadly, she gets bitten. With the students starting to have pressing needs by the hour, Anjo comes up with an idea to turn the recording room into a restroom. Meanwhile, Guinom escapes the swamped cafeteria, killing the zombies along the way with his knife until he gets into the principal's office. With the police station overrun by zombies, Mr. Lee and Detective Ja-il are forced to flee. But Mr. Lee gets bitten and leaves Ja-il instructions to find his laptop and use the information there to find an antidote. However, Lee is oddly calm when he turns and just walks out. While Jiangsan and Suhyuk try to get a phone, they get ambushed by zombies and are separated. Attempting to get away from the pursuing horde of zombies, Jiangsan runs into the principal's office, where he makes a recording of Guinom tying the principal up and killing him. Jiangsan goes on to run to keep the phone from Guinom and gets a knife thrown at him. Meanwhile, Anjo's dad, Soju, a fireman, saves some staff, including Assemblywoman Yoon-hee, while responding to an emergency call. Ha-ri, the captain of the archery team, and Ho-yoon, her teammate, along with fellow students Mi-jin and Junso, search for Woo-jin, Ha-ri's brother. Ha-ri uses her archery skills to keep the group safe. Meanwhile, Soju and the people he rescued are quarantined. The government imposes martial law to curb the spread of the virus. They also go as far as terminating the telecommunications service, making communication impossible. Back at Hyosun High, it's shown that Jiangsan didn't get the sharp end of the knife Guinom threw at him. They get into a brawl for the phone, and in self-defense, Jiangsan blinds one of Guinom's eyes and throws him over to the horde of eager zombies. However, Guinom doesn't turn into one, though he can still infect with a bite, and comes after Jiangsan. In the control room, the students use a drone to find Jiangsan and send a message to the city. They succeed at the former, but unfortunately fail at the latter, as the drone's battery dies halfway. With the government refusing to save the kids left at Hyosun High, Soju cleverly abandons quarantine to find his daughter. At Hyosun High, the students go to the rooftop, hoping to signal passing helicopters. But things don't go as planned as they end up getting hemmed in by zombies. Unknown to them, Nayeon is hiding in the class's storage room with Mrs. Sunhua'S, whereabouts unknown. Attempting to save Soo-hyuk, Namra gets bitten by Guinom, but doesn't turn into a zombie, which causes a heated debate regarding her quarantine. Meanwhile, Ha-ri and her group continue to run as they search for Woo-jin. As Soju tries to escape, he gets shot while trying to make his way through the water, around the island. General Seon-mu sends out a rescue team to find survivors in affected areas, but one of the soldiers gets bitten and is sent back to camp. While that happens, Soju finally pulls clear of his pursuers, cleans his wound, and journeys to Hyosun High. At the school, Anjo shows similar persistence with her father as she comes up with a brilliant idea to lure the zombies into the classroom and barricade them while they escape through the back door. The plan succeeds, but to their dismay, they find the doors to the rooftop locked. Unknown to them, Jinsu, a fellow student, has been on the roof the entire time and locked the doors to deny access to the zombies. With their choices dwindling, the students try to get the door open, but aren't able to do so in time to follow the helicopter that picks Jinsu. On the other hand, Jiangsan and Soo-hyuk are caught fending off zombies that have discovered them. Just then, Guinom arrives, intent on killing Jiangsan. As the students fend Guinom off, the rooftop doors open due to a fire set by Yoonji, a fellow student with a rare reaction to the zombie virus, just like Namra and Guinom. After that, Yoonji leaves Hyosun High on a bike. On the other hand, Ha-ri and her group find it difficult to move as Junseong has an injury. While on the run, Jail and his associates knock Yoonji off her bike. However, as he checks on her, nearby soldiers mistake him for a zombie and open fire. But they stop shooting when they notice they're still human. Recalling Mrs. Sunhua'S words and probable demise, Nayeon decides to turn over a new leaf. However, as she tries to take food to the group as a gesture of goodwill, Guinom kills her, turning her into a zombie. Afterward, he gets to the rooftop and attacks Jiangsan. Namra's new strength, augmented by her rare reaction to the virus, comes in handy in fending Guinom off again. Back at the quarantine camp, the doctors discover that the virus is evolving while running tests on the bitten soldier. Then, Jail tells the soldiers about the laptop and every other thing Mr. Lee told him, prompting General Seon-mu to send a team down to Hyosun High to retrieve the laptop. On getting there, they spot the students on the rooftop. After vetting them with a temperature scanner, the soldiers go for the laptop to come back for the students afterward. However, they're ordered to leave the students behind. Jinsu gets bitten erratically by Yoonji at the quarantine center, revealing that there's no certain way to distinguish between the infected and the uninfected. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, Jiangsan notices that the rain affects the zombies' hearing. The group, including Ha-ri's, uses the advantage to get off the roof and make it to the mountain. However, on their way, Jiangsan sees his mom as a zombie and is devastated. Jiangsan's cries draw the zombies to the group, but they escape, pulling him along. though not without losing one group member. On getting to the school tennis court, they find it swarmed with the zombies and have to hide in the storage room. On the other hand, Soju encounters a hitch as zombies attack him en route to Hyosun-hai. Back at the camp, General Xianmu orders all of Hyosun to be blown up since he cannot find an antidote. The following day, Soo-hyuk comes up with an idea to build a barricade to keep the zombies out as they escape. They do that, but lose Jeonyoung in the process. However, the door leading to the mountains is locked from the outside, hindering their progress. Simultaneously, Guinom tries to locate them, but is too late, as Soju finds them and unlocks the door. There's a flood of new hope with the door open and Soju finding his daughter. However, that's quickly short-lived as they get attacked again. Ultimately, Soju sacrifices himself for them to escape. Later on, the group takes shelter in a construction site, while Guinom continues his search for Jiangsan. However, General Xianmu's orders to gather the zombies in one location using sound before blowing them up, announcements are made for the uninfected to find cover. While that's going on, Guinom finally finds Jiangsan at the construction site. They get into a brawl that ends with Guinom biting Jiangsan on the arm. However, before he can do more damage, the army drones create a serious audio effect that messes with the zombies, including Guinom and Namra. Jiangsan uses this opportunity to push Guinom off the balcony they're on. Seeing that he's been bitten, he lures the zombies away so the rest can escape. While they're on the run, Guinom attacks him, but they're both killed when the bomb drops at the quarantine camp. General Xianmu kills himself out of guilt. The following day after the explosion, Anjo, Namra, and Soo-hyung return to the construction site, looking for Jiangsan. When they find nothing, they return to the others and head out to the city using the ribbons Soju tied to the trees as a navigation system. The soldiers sent out to find survivors find Mr. Lee's infected son and wife tied up in their home. As the group of students gets to an empty part of the city, they're attacked by a few zombies. Namra quickly kills Wu Jin when he gets bitten and also develops an overwhelming urge to feed on her friends as they continue moving. Rather than do that, she turns and heads back the way they came. When Soo-hyuk notices she's gone, he and Anjo search for her. They find her drinking blood from a corpse, and she almost bites Anjo. However, Namra reins her urges in and runs away. Afterward, the group finds the soldiers and are taken to the quarantine camp. A few months later, the group heads back to the school to find Namra, who tells them that she still has to deal with the remaining zombies in Hyosun.
We're friends even if we're apart. Okay? It's them. See you, okay?